Hello, everyone. It's Guy. I haven't made a video like this in a little while. I tried to upload a video, actually, this with the same content this morning, but I got docked for showing a clip from the video that I'm referencing. So here's a version of the video without the clip. Um, the what inspired this video is an episode of a show called Nathan for You. I've gotten addicted to this. It's a comedy show from Comedy Central. Hilarious. Nathan Fielder is the kind of host of the show, comedian, and the the premise of the show is that he is a a graduate from a college where he studied business in Canada, and so he he has the knowledge and insight into how to help businesses. So he goes around to small businesses and gives them advice on how to increase their sales or get their name out there and those kinds of things. In the the ideas and concepts that he delivers to them are almost always just really they're always wild and really creative, but not practical in most cases. In some cases, borderline unethical. In this particular episode that I saw on Nathan for You, it's the title of the episode is Toy Company, and he, of course, goes to kind of lend his his expertise to a toy company. The toy company is doing okay for the most part, but they have one item that is not selling particularly well. It's called a doinkit, and it's a ball. It's kind of got these weird rubbery things that stick out from it that kind of form the surface of the ball, and it's similar to a lot of different things that are kind of already out on the market, and but it apparently just wasn't selling very well. And so Nathan proposes the idea, well, that the toy manufacturer adopt a new marketing ploy for this toy to market the toy. And he says, well, children have they're easy to market to because they have very small brains, and so he says if you kind of use this tagline for the doinkit and say it's the only proof that you're not a baby, then kids will want it because they don't want to be called a baby. And he even puts together it goes through kind of an elaborate thing. I've posted a link in the description box to the actual episode, and I recommend going ahead and watching this episode. Again, it's on Comedy Central, but the in particular, the scene that I wanted to show that I wasn't able to in the previous version was the scene where he puts together a focus group with these three children, and he presents the balls and says, well, what do you think of this toy? And they're not impressed with the ball. They say, well, it's stupid. And he says, well, you know what, you don't want it, and no, it's dumb, it's not cool. And so then he says, he says, well, I've got a phone call, and he picks up his cell phone and answers it, and he says, oh, it's the president. And he tells, he has a fake conversation, and he says, okay, I'll let them know, and hangs up. And he says, well, that was the president. And the president said that if you don't have a doinkit toy, that you're a baby. So, well, I've got these doinkit toys, so I guess that's good for me. Do you guys want the doinkit toy, or are you babies? And so the kids, one by one, reach over and they grab for a doinkit toy, and there was, the girl in the middle kind of holds out and says, well, she doesn't say anything, but she can clearly see through the silliness of the argument, but at the same time, she doesn't want to face the consequences, the social consequences of being called a baby. And so finally, even she caves, and so then all three of them are sitting there with a doinkit ball, and Nathan at the very end says, so what do you think of kids that don't have a doinkit? And they're saying, the kids reply, well, they're sad and weird. So anyways, it's an uncomfortable situation as you're watching it, because well, it's not right to put kids through that, obviously. It's for a comedy show, and it's the premise is outlandish and things, just for that reason, and they take it beyond that, and create packaging and things based on this marketing strategy. But like I said, go watch the clip. It's really funny the way they carry it out. But what I was thinking, as I watched this episode the other day, is just how similar that whole strategy is to the way that religion is pushed on people. Instead of a phone call from the president, churches will tell you, well, there's a book that was written by people who heard from a God. Well, Nathan's phone call wasn't really from the president. There's no way that the president would take time out of his day to make a phone call to tell people, to tell this comedian guy that the kids should have a doinkit, or else they're probably babies. But nobody stops to ask, or I guess not nobody, but people that have bought into religion haven't stopped to ask the same kinds of questions with regard to the Bible or whatever holy book that they subscribe to. Why do you think that a God told one person this message? What do you actually have more reason to believe that than you would to believe that the president called this comedian guy and gave him a message? And then the consequences. Well, if you don't have this ball, you'll be called a baby. People will dislike you. There's no reason, there's no connection between having a ball, let alone a specific ball, and being a baby. And in fact, if one of those kids, one of the three kids, had started to challenge and ask questions, that would have actually been more adult-like than just to accept the things that this comedian guy was saying, that the marketing strategist had pushed on them. If the kids had said, well, what do you mean by baby? How does having a ball prove that you're not a baby? That doesn't seem, that doesn't connect. It doesn't follow. It's a non sequitur. With religion, it's you're going to go to hell and burn for eternity if you don't accept these things that supposedly were given to someone by a God. Why? What reason is there to believe that anybody's going to burn for eternity? I don't see a hell. I haven't heard from anybody that's been to hell. There's no evidence that such a place exists. There's no evidence that this, divine being would do such a thing. And if he did exist, would he be worthy of submission and um, acquiescence. I, I I would suggest not. Just like submitting to this guy's pushy marketing ploy does not make him worthy of following or listening to. He's manipulating and putting pressure on kids. And then the last point that I wanted to draw out is just how religions really try to push and make gullibility a virtue. There's even I think in the Synoptic Gospels, there's at least one verse in each of the Synoptic Gospels that suggests that you should become like children. Well, these kids all fell for a marketing ploy. They were not skeptical. They were gullible. They didn't ask questions, and they took someone at their word. And that's not a virtue. It makes you vulnerable, and it's not something that anybody with any sense would look at as virtuous. Why would it be? Why would a deity want you to accept things unquestioningly with no evidence? And that's not a good thing. That's not something we strive for. In fact, we in most cases, in most cultures, strive to get away from those things as we grow into adulthood. It would be a disservice if the parents of these three kids, after seeing this, didn't talk with them about asking questions and recommend to them that they not just accept things that people are telling them without asking questions and getting advice. Listening. Don't make decisions until you've had input from other sources. You've heard from more than one perspective on a subject. Are there critics of a particular view? What do they have to say? What are their arguments? What are their evidence? And listen and try to get informed before you make decisions and things and buy into things. Children don't do those things automatically, and there are a lot of plenty of adults who also don't. And if we can foster a culture, a global culture of skepticism that embraces these principles and these ideas, I think we'd be better off. And I think I don't know that incidents like we had in Paris yesterday would go away altogether. It's a sad and horrific thing. I think that in some ways, you could say that it could be attributed to gullibility and people following a leader without question. There's a Google Plus individual who goes by Al-Sham, who is a Muslim, or at least he's posing as a Muslim. There are some Muslims that say he's a fake Muslim and that he is. Some of them say that he's a poser and just wants to be identified as a bad guy, and he certainly posts images of violence and things. He's a certainly tries to portray the image of a bad guy. I invited him to come and join me in a hangout just for a conversation. I was really interested in hearing what he had to say and asking him questions. He posted that he was told by whoever, I don't know who it was, someone that was higher ranked than he is in whatever kind of organization he's either in or pretending to be in, told him not to communicate with me. And uh, if that's the case, and I like I say, I can't verify, I can't know whether or not he is who he appears to be, but if that's the case, it's a pretty it suggests to me anyhow that he's got a pretty weak position. I don't have guns, I don't have bombs, I don't have anything but questions. And if that's a threat, what does that say about your position? That's the most powerful tool I think we have, especially in this landscape of the internet and YouTube here. That we can challenge ideas, that we can we can ask questions, and we can try to push people to think through what it is that they believe, to doubt and seek better answers than what they have currently. So anyhow, those were my thoughts. I hope that showing that screenshot from the video does not get my video knocked down like it did the first time. The first time it was more than a screenshot. I actually showed the clip, but Viacom shut that video down. Hopefully this one stays up. So anyhow, like I said, I invite you, click on the link for the actual clip. Take a look at it. I really enjoy the show, and I highly recommend it. I think it's really dumb that these big companies won't allow for any of their content to be posted or shared. I mean, I can share the link, but I can't include a small segment of it in my video. That's dumb. I'm not trying to profit off of it. This is not I'm not monetizing this video. I didn't monetize the other one. I think I had considered the possibility of monetizing videos back when I started, but I don't get enough views to make a difference, and it's just annoying that people have to click through those commercials and things. So I've demonetized anything that I had tried to monetize at the beginning, and I haven't done that since. So this is not something I'm trying to profit. And in fact, of the 7-minute video that that is posted out there for this Comedy Central, I showed a 2-minute segment of it, and highly recommended that anybody who watches it goes out and takes a look at that clip and takes a look at the show in general, because I enjoy it. It was an endorsement of the show. Viacom, you make yourself look bad. Anyhow, go watch the show anyhow, even if Viacom is dumb. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Like it and pass it around if you enjoyed it. Comment and whatever like that too. Thanks, everyone.